Hey, what's going on, man? It's your boy C.O. Jones, man. My teacher coming up, she used to tell me there ain't no such thing as stupid question, man, but they definitely stupid comments, man. On today's episode of Fans Say the Dumbest Thing, like this guy right here. He's starting to depart from AJ Terrell. He's coming pathetic at this point. You see this craziness, man? Who you gonna go get, huh? Stop what you're doing right now, man. Tell me 12 cornerbacks better than AJ Terrell in the league, huh? I'll stop in that way. You got nobody! And for our next contestant, what are you willing to give up to get Malik Willis? A Newport short and a half-eaten chalupa for Taco Bell at 2 a.m. in the morning, man. I blocked that idea. I said to my last girl, block my number, man. It's okay, though. She take Tuesday and she love me in the morning. I would have pueblo, huh? Hop into the Bird Bath and wash away that stupidness, man. What's going on, family? It's your boy C-Mo, the C. Mitchell, checking in with another Falcons Bird Bath. My point game official. Today, we're going to get into key positions to add and things that fans can look forward to in the future, as well as, first and foremost, if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Small thing for you, huge for us. It allows us to keep bringing content to you guys. We're going to tap in and chop it up with Steve Hightower and get his thoughts and sentiments on some of the topics for you. All right, Hightower, man, what's going on, man? How you doing, man? Welcome to the Bird Bath.
Doing pretty good. How you? Doing pretty good. How you doing?
Doing well, man. Doing well. It's going great, man. We definitely gonna talk about how they're utilizing Bijan more and a little bit about why it's not such a bad idea to necessarily get rid of Raheem Morris and some of the things that fans can look forward to. First and foremost, man, I'd definitely like to get into a little bit of what's going on with this offense a little bit more. It seems like things have opened up a lot more over the last couple weeks with Kirk under center. It's kind of hard to tell if that's necessarily a product of Kirk being under center or whatnot, but they are definitely getting Bijan Robinson a lot more touches and, you know, really running this offense through him a lot more is the way, really running this offense through him a lot more the way you like to. I mean, you talked about this before. Running backs kind of need, you know, about 15 touches or so just to go ahead and be able to read the defense. I want to get your thoughts on that a little bit.
No matter what level you're on, if you're a running back, you want to try to fill out the defense and get into a rhythm. So on average in the NFL, you want to at least get 23, if possible, to 25 carries, okay? When you get to around carry number 15, you kind of have an idea of what's really going on with the defense. You kind of had a chance to set up the linebackers with you playing a certain way. Your timing is a little bit better with your line. You know what to expect. After that 15th touch, now you're ready to tear it up, okay? With Bijan, whenever he gets 23 or more, he's feeling real good. He's in rhythm. He's happy. He knows what to expect. And they really know they're in for a long day, because he's going to terrorize them. And that goes along with almost any running backs.
Definitely agree. Now, with this offense right now, the way that they're doing a lot of the play calling, they're not necessarily getting him even to that 20 mark, but getting him a lot more receptions at times.
Yes.
Me and you were talking about that as maybe 4 or 5 of them are more of a dink and dunk, dump off things, or screen passes, but maybe you get 2 of them that are intermediate and maybe 2 that are a little bit deeper. Do you feel as though just using him as they say, as an extension of the running game in that type of way is just as effective? And how does that work with being able to get Tyler Algier involved and being able to get both of those guys enough touches to make sure that they're both getting the field and be able to have the offense successfully move in cohesion and get the most out of everybody?
Just for you to know, I look at the way Bijan is playing, and he reminds me a lot, productive-wise, of Marshall Faulk. Okay, he can run. He's a gifted runner, but he's also a gifted receiver, and you're trying to find the best way to use him in regards to how to make your offense run smoothly. So, for Bijan, I still want him to get those 23 to 24 runs. But when he's receiving, he's that much more dangerous because it keeps your linebackers and your defense flat foot and they're trying to figure out what's going to happen next. And he's such a threat that they have to stay at home. They can't really commit, and that opens up the game for other players. For Algier, what would happen is that if they were going to do that week in and week out with Bijan, it would open the door for Algier to be able to actually get more carries because they want to keep everybody as fresh as possible. You don't want to overwork Bijan, but you want to make sure that he's always up there and always thinking about him. But now Algier can come in with that shifty power game that he brings, and he can actually wear down the linebackers. That way, when Bijan gets back in, they're tired, and they can do whatever they want with him. And since he's so great at receiving, he'll eat them up alive. And that's what you want. You want to make him more productive, but you want to make sure that every snap counts to a great degree and that you're very effective. So that would actually help the offense. And that would make it easier if they did that on whichever quarterback's in there, whether it's Penix or whether it's Cousins. And, we know for the rest of the season who it's going to be pretty much. But I'm just saying that it would make it easier.
Yeah, now, earlier, I was saying to you that it seems like Zach Robinson might be calling a little bit more balance of a game. And you said you don't think that it's more as balance of a game. And I kind of do agree with you a little bit on that. It seems as though they are leading off with the run a little bit more. And so it seems when you're watching the game as though they're keeping these guys a lot more honest because they're starting with the run. Even if they have a loss of yards or they get stuffed on a play, they're not afraid now to come right back behind with another run play. Or if they get a penalty and it's repeat down, 1st and 15 or 1st and 20, they're still turning around and handing the ball off to Bijan Robinson. Some people think that that's because Kirk is under center. What are your thoughts on why Zach Robinson seems to be a lot more effective now and why they're getting a lot more productivity out of this offense with some of his play calls at this point?
Okay, so from my perspective, I believe that now that the team knows that they're not going to make the playoffs, I think that the offensive coordinator is now just relaxed. I don't know if the offense really changed a whole lot. You're just using what you have. And I think that before he was trying to be too dynamic. He had a lot of stress on him, a lot of he was overthinking things. He was trying to figure out what's the best thing to do with the team he has. Now, it seems like they've settled in and he's actually doing similar things, but because they know where they are and the pressure's kind of off, now all they got to do is try to win the rest of their season games. But what would happen with that is Zach just seems as if now he's not tripping about what's going on. He seemed like he had too much on his plate when they were trying to make the playoffs. I think they were biting off more than they could chew in regards to how he looked at it. He was trying to be too fancy, I think, at times, and then he wasn't being fancy at all at other times. Now, because the pressure's kind of off in regards to making the playoffs, I think that he's a little bit more relaxed and he's able to really see things the right way without having that extra pressure on his mind.
Do you think that this team can continue with the success and continue what they're doing right now moving into next season if they keep Zach Robinson? And two, it looks like Raheem Morris is probably going to be back with the team next year. It seems like he's probably saved his job. We are going against the Rams this week. Why do you think that it may not be as bad of an idea to bring him back as opposed to fire him? Because it's very popular with a lot of fans right now to just want to get rid of Raheem Morris. So tell me your thoughts on that a little bit.
Well, first of all, I'll talk about Zach real quick. I think that because the offense seems to be clicking a little bit more efficiently right now, that he may even be saving his job. Not sure 100%, but I'm just saying things look a little bit better, so he may be able to save his job. For Raheem, he shouldn't go anywhere. I think that he should get another year because if you look at what they have as a team, position by position, personnel-wise, they have been building to develop a great team. It's just that it wasn't clicking initially. I think that maybe Raheem needed to be a little bit stricter in some aspects of what he expects from his players and the coaches. I think he might want to put his foot down a few times when Zach's doing certain things that he may not agree with. But I think that he's going to be safe, especially with the last couple games. Remember that they really haven't gotten beat bad by anybody. All their games have been relatively close. So they're like a touchdown away in most cases every week from winning a game. It's just that they would uh, forget plays or whatever, or what to do or how to act in the fourth quarter, and that would cause a loss. They should be able to do their thing next year. Give it another shot and see. Because if they were to fire people now, it's like starting all over. And with what the momentum they've gained would be nullified. You don't want that to happen.
So let's play devil's advocate a little bit, because I'm hearing some of the radio personalities, for example, they're saying now. Last week, by the way, I did mention how somebody like a Dan Campbell, even Mike Shanahan, their first couple years, it took them a couple years to kind of get off the ground. But some commentators and some fans will say, well, look at what they're doing with the Patriots. Look at what they're doing with who's the other hot team that just after 1 year, they seem to just be turning it around.
Well, the thing is, even if it's after 1 year, that may be with a coach. That's not with a plan. That's not with an organization. That's not with a bigger picture. In basketball, you hear trust the process all the time, right? My thing is, do you trust the process that's being presented to you by the organization itself? If you do, stick with what you have. But if you don't, that makes it so that things are very questionable and you don't know where it's going to go. So trust the process. I think they're going in the right direction.
Some guys are saying, hey, I've seen enough after 2 years to know that he's not the guy. Don't waste all this talent that we have.
Listen, he's not. First of all, you got to remember Raheem was already there as an assistant coach. They brought him back. Okay. I think he does very well with the players. I think he has a great relationship with the organization, and I think it was a good move to bring him there. We just have to make sure. Remember, the team is relatively young. All their stars are like 25 and younger, so they need an opportunity to mature. By taking him away, it's kind of like taking daddy out the house. Yeah, mommy's good with taking care of you, but it's still great when daddy's home. So leave daddy in place, let him take care of the family or the team, and let's see what happens another year. I really believe.
Do you think they need to get rid of Zach? I mean, we saw that last year they got rid of Jimmy Lake and they brought in Ulbrich. Do we need? I've said this before. I'd like to see the offensive equivalent of a Jeff Ulbrich. I don't know who exists there, but could they even bring in another coordinator and keep a similar offense to what they have? Is that even realistic to think about?
Well, normally when you're looking for a coordinator or any other coaches, you want to find somebody that kind of falls in line with your the scheme you already have going for your team, the ideas you already have. So you don't want to come in and just totally revamp everything. You may revamp some aspects of the game and how you coach of the team, play calling, but you don't want to start over. So you're finding people that fit your needs. Keep Raheem, Zach. Let's see how the season plays out. They can always let him go. Keep Raheem. If you got to get another offensive coordinator, you can. As long as that coordinator is kind of following suit with what they're already doing, he may be able to add some extra jelly to the sandwich and make it taste better. But that's yet to be seen.
Yeah, I agree. There's been a lot of people that are saying things like, bring in Todd Monken, bring in this new hot coordinator. And I don't think that necessarily we know that these guys are going to be any better than.
You don't know. You don't. I mean, the thing is, nothing's guaranteed at all, regardless of what you do. So it's not that you want to settle for less, but they're not looking terrible. If you really break down each game, they were in each game legitimately. They didn't just get blown out and they didn't know what to do. They distraught, walking around the field, not knowing where they are or what to do. So with that being said, they were always in the game. So give Zach until the end of the season.
I want to get into a little bit of the player personnel now. For one, I want to talk about some of the players or positions that we should potentially add in the offseason, some of the guys that we should definitely re-sign. But first and foremost, I've seen some chatter recently, and I don't know if this is a complete echo chamber. Fans are definitely prisoner of the moment. Football is probably the most prisoner of the moment sport that there is. But I've seen a few people saying things like, AJ Terrell isn't that good. We need us another shutdown corner. And I think that's ridiculous. I mean, I don't think that AJ may not even be a top 5 cornerback. Might not even be a top 10 quarterback. But
I like AJ.
I like AJ too. I think he's a really good cornerback.
Yeah.
Explain to the people out there why, even if he doesn't even make a Pro Bowl, why he's so good at what he does. Because they're like, I saw one guy say that, he's giving up too much,
No.
which is ridiculous to me. So
AJ Terrell actually is potentially a Pro Bowl player. I believe he should be in the Pro Bowl this year. He may not be 100% locked down, but he's 80% locked down. He can do everything you want him to do, and he stays active, and he's paying attention to all details. So what happens is he's hungry to make a big play. Remember that. So he'll commit to something because he wants to make a difference that maybe at times he shouldn't commit to, but his heart and his mind is in the right place. Potentially, he's trying to make the Falcons win. So you already hear my idea is he's a Pro Bowl player. Let him be a Pro Bowl player. I wouldn't get rid of him. Now, if you want to get another cornerback that can be shut down to go with them, that's fine. Now you have 2, which is what most teams want to have. If you can have 2 shutdowns. But I would not get rid of him. He's definitely worth the money, and he's worth the time. And even though he's at last week I think he had a holding problem. No, week before last. I think he had 2 holding problems that negated some drives.
He had a holding penalty this recent game as well too, or it's kind of pass interference, but it's a deep pass that they had a holding call on.
Well, even with that, he's trying to make sure nobody scores.
Agreed, definitely. Agreed.
It's not like he's just being lazy or doesn't know what to do. If he held, he knew that he needed to hold the guy. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't get rid of him at all. Cornerback, if you could find another one, great, but I wouldn't get rid of Terrell.
You know what's crazy? I think that AJ Terrell is the type of player that even later into his career, he's smarter. He seems smart enough, at least, and cerebral enough, and has the physicality enough that if you wanted to move him to safety, I think he could extend his career even longer. So I think he's a guy that we could potentially keep here in Atlanta for his whole career, like a Rondé Barber or somebody like that, or a Rod Woodson.
If he's happy with the organization, he's getting paid properly, I can see him being there. Of course, the allure of more money to another team is always there and evident, but that's for the organization to work on. I think he should be there.
Let's talk about some of the offseason moves that potentially looming with some of these players. I definitely think that we talked about Caden Ellis. They should definitely bring him back. David Onyemata, I'm not sure if he's going to be coming back or not, or what his number is going to be against the salary cap. If we were to bring back Caden Ellis, and I think that I think in the offseason we need us a cornerback, a wide receiver, and probably a defensive tackle. And I wouldn't be mad if we could actually go about maybe drafting a young linebacker to kind of learn a little bit and groom along to kind of play with Caden Ellis and Divine Diablo, who probably has a little bit more tread on his tires than Caden Ellis. And Caden Ellis could still potentially be good for another 2 or 3 years as well, too, because his game isn't
he's been 7 years, I think.
Say again?
He's been in the league for 7 years.
Caden Ellis?
Something like that, maybe?
Yeah, I think
so.
I think Caden Ellis might be his 7th or 8th year. He's just about to hit 30 this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So what's funny is that he's doing what I would keep him because he's definitely reliable. He's definitely reliable and he does his job. In 2024, he led the team with 150 tackles. And that was impressive. Potentially what that means is that he's bringing productivity to a team that needs him. So what's going to happen is he's going to be in demand, but I don't want him to leave. I think they should do whatever they can do to keep him because he's steady. He does his job. He knows what he's doing, and he's dedicated to it. So I wouldn't want to let him go at all.
I know that at this point we don't know exactly what's going to be there in free agency. We don't know exactly what's going to be there in the draft. There's still some more college playoff games, Senior Bowl, and some of these exit exam games, if you will, for college students that are going to be going to the league.
Yeah.
Do you think, though, in general, in my humble opinion, I feel as though cornerback is a place, it's really hard to play, but I think that that's a place that we see a lot of younger players come in and contribute right away more so and be more productive than a wide receiver at that point. In my opinion, I would put, if I had the choice, I would try to see if we could sign us a veteran wide receiver for this team, because we do have Drake London under his contract and coming up on something. And I think that I'd go for maybe a cornerback in the second round, because second round wide receivers don't seem to pan out quite so much early on in their career. It takes them a few years. Like Devontae Adams is one of those guys. It took him a few years to kind of get it together. What are your thoughts on that? Because I think we definitely need the cornerback and wide receiver position.
Definitely, you always need to have good corners, and the reason why most corners can come right on in and play, but it's very stressful because it's one on one. Like the whole world sees you, and they can judge you, and you can't even fake. You can't blame if you got beat on anybody else but yourself. So it's very stressful. You can get a guy coming in, because playing quarterback is playing quarterback. I mean, it doesn't change from when you're a little kid to now. It's just that you have better or higher quality receivers that you're going against. When you look at a wide receiver, learning the scheme, learning how the quarterback works, learning the best routes to run, how crisp they should be run, that's an adjustment that's made every week. So the receiving position, even if they're very gifted, is harder to place right into the offense from the get-go. Cornerback, though, you can ease them into their first year to the point where they're starting by the end of the season, just because it doesn't change. You're reading defenses, that's the part you have to learn. But what you do, look, don't let anybody get past you. Don't let them catch the ball. See how simple that was? That doesn't change. So getting a cornerback, if you can get a top cornerback, fine, because they're hard to find. Shutdown cornerbacks, Darrell Revis and all, it's hard to find them. Now, in regards to a receiver, you can find receivers even in the 5th round that are really good. But are you teaching your team correctly? Are you patient enough? Are you observing the weaknesses that they have and trying to develop it? That's on the organization and the coach.
I tend to agree with that largely. I've seen some tape where they're talking about with these receivers, the quarterback ain't able to necessarily check away from certain plays sometimes. If they see that there's a coverage with a certain play call, they might have to break that coverage off a certain type of way, or know to keep going with their routes a little bit way. So there's a lot more reading sometimes with those receivers, unless they're like they're not a true, split in guy. If they're more of a flanker, I can't remember if that's Z or X. I think that's a Z guy. But
it's according to your scheme. Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. With that being said, let's talk a little bit about the linebackers or / edge rushers. James Pearce Jr. and Jalen Walker have been great. We signed Leonard Floyd to a 1-year, $10 million deal. He only has 2.5 sacks right now, and I do think that he's helped Jalen Walker and James Pearce Jr. in the mentorship department, but he's also been very productive for us in terms of making plays that don't necessarily show up on the stat sheet. Do you think, though, that we need to bring back Leonard Floyd and
Yes.
Arnold?
Atlanta doesn't have a whole lot of money to work with, but they can maneuver. I would try to keep Leonard Floyd. He's been in the league 10 years, and he averages pretty much every year almost 8.5 or 8.6 sacks a year. Right now he's at 2.5. It doesn't mean he's not being productive. But you can't replace anybody's time in the league, their experience, the professionalism. You've never had any problems with him. He does his job, regardless if he gets sacks or not. He's reliable. He does a solid job. Now, when you go to the draft, you want to get the best players you possibly can, and if you can feel a need, you get it. So if they were to find somebody that they could replace either one of those guys with, that's on an organization, because that's smart long term. You want to have somebody that's going to be there. And Floyd has been in the league for 10 years. Not that it's long, but I'm just saying they're going to be looking for somebody soon anyway. So if you want to look for it, fine. But I wouldn't want to get rid of him. At least you know what to expect from him. He's solid.
So what would you just sign him to a 1-year deal? Do you think that he's worth the $10 million? I mean, because again, everything's about price. Everything's contingent upon price.
The $10 million really is, to the NFL. $10 million is not a lot of money. So that figure really means nothing to me in regards to should they resign him or what he already signed for.
Right.
If you get a top player to replace him, you're going to end up spending more than that within 2 years, most likely. If he's going to outperform Floyd, then that's going to happen. But I don't think there's anybody, unless it's just a really gifted player coming out. If you already have him, he's online with your scheme. You believe in what he's doing. Both of you guys line. He knows what's going on. He's a leader in the locker room and on the field. You kind of want to leave it alone. But if you can find somebody that could potentially be on your team for the future and is just as good, you can't pass it up. But I would keep him for right now.
Now, and the last player I'd like to really talk about a little bit more is Brandon Dorlus. He's been phenomenal for us right now. I think he's at 7.5, maybe 8 sacks. Him and James Pearce Jr. are right up there, neck and neck, as our sack leaders. And if James Harrison didn't get hurt, I think he'd potentially be up there as well too. Kind of have two questions. One, do you think that we need to add another defensive tackle at least? As a run stuffer and to have beef up somebody. And two, how good do you think that Brandon Dorlus can be in this league? To me, he reminds me a lot in this scheme of a Michael Bennett when he was with Seattle, a guy that can play that big end and can play on the outside, but in the interior, he just wreaks all type of havoc. And he has a lot of versatility, but especially in the pass rush. But he's gotten a lot better in the run game. He's just a really great, phenomenal block shedder. His hand game, in terms of being able to get hands off of you and all that.
Very efficiently, yeah.
Yeah.
So remember, he's only 24 years old. Okay, a lot more playing in front of him, as long as he doesn't have a lot of injuries. But for me, when I watch Dorlus, he's good at both. Like you said, he's good at run stopping and pass rushing. Okay. You can't find that all the time. It's hard to find that where a guy's that efficient in what he does on both sides with running and passing. You know what I'm saying? That's great. It's going to be hard to find somebody that could replace him. So I'm in love with the dude in regards to him staying. To tell you the truth, he's what he has. He's 8th sack. He's a sack leader among NFC defensive players. I think he has 8. Does he have 8?
I think he's at 7.5 right now. He might be right at 8.
But he's one of the top interior linemen in the league in regards to sacks. And if you can get interior lineman that's that productive, that's phenomenal. But I wouldn't mess with him at all. I like that dude.
Do you think that he can be as good as a Jalen Carter? And do you think do you think he'll be even better than even for us Grady Jarrett has been, because he's already at Grady Jarrett's career high at this point?
I mean, the thing is that the sky's the limit in regards to being as. Who was the first person you do? Jalen. He doesn't have to be Jalen Carter. Jalen hasn't even really proved himself long term, so we don't really know how Jalen's going to pan out in the end. Correct. My man right here, he's already proven himself. He's already proven what he can do. Even at, he's proven it. So let that ride. Don't mess that up.
Right.
I leave him alone.
Right. And Jalen Carter, he had a great year a couple years
ago. Can he be as good as Jalen? Why not? They're all pros. The potential's there. Will he be? I have no idea. But I'm not comparing the two at all.
Right.
Jalen hasn't been in the league long enough.
Right. It really doesn't even matter. It's all about productivity and does he do what you need him to do in this scheme for you.
Does he fit the need? Does he fit the need that you have for that position? Because what's funny about the NFL is it's not always about the best player or the best athlete. It's about filling a need. Can you fill the need that I have? If you can do that, they'll hire you. They'll sign you to a contract when there might be a better athlete sitting at home. So that's really what it's about.
Well, man, that's our show for today. I can't quite think if there's anything else that you think we should touch on. You have any closing remarks that you'd like to touch on, any particular players or anything?
I just want to hit a few facts about Bijan and what he's achieved this year. Out of all the players that have been in the league that are 24 or younger,
whoa, wait. We gonna make them wait for the next episode for the Falcon facts.
Oh, I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at that. But we can also let me
Yeah, I know
see.
you got some facts on Pitts. You got some facts on
Yes, I
Bijan
got some
and
stuff. I got Xavier Watts. Okay, 24 years old, 49 solo tackles, and he has 3 interceptions. Very efficient. If you look at this team, man, they have players. They got ballers. They just got to get it all together and line it up. Be on the same page. The Falcons are full of these guys, man, and they're young. Uh, shout out back to Ellis because he's been nominated for Rooney's Sportsmanship Award. Art Rooney.
wow, I didn't know that.
Yes, he's one of the guys that got nominated, and what that means is that you play the game with the respect and integrity. You know what I'm saying? So even though it may seem goofy to some people, that's what the NFL needs: more respect and more integrity. A true man, a true player, a true guy that you can rely on. That's what he is. So hopefully he wins.
Now, one thing I will ask you before we get out of here, do you feel as though, because we've seen Kyle Pitts really emerge a lot later in the year without Drake London being here, and before Drake London got here, Kyle Pitts was a 1,000-yard receiver. He looks like he's about to touch that same plateau again. Do you think that if we brought another number 2 receiver in here, that Kyle Pitts should be the number 2 option in this offense in terms of just straight up receptions? And if we did bring another person in who commanded a lot of targets or a lot of production the way that Darnell Mooney did the previous year, he wasn't really good this past season. But if we had someone who was able to do some of the things Darnell Mooney did, do you think that we could still get Pitts as involved, or
Yeah,
should he be?
no, that shouldn't be a problem. What happens is if you find a number 2 receiver that's so good that he takes time away from Pitts, that just happens. But Pitts is good enough that he can be the number 2, even as a tight end. He has to make his mind up. So you got a glimpse of what he could do recently, but he could have been doing that. In my mind, he should have been doing that. That's what I expect from him. Um, I want him to be the type of tight end that makes potential number 2 receivers mad because they can't get past him. So even they need a number 2. You need a reliable number 2 no matter what team you're on, no matter what personnel you have, no matter how good your tight end is. But with Pitt's skill level, he could actually be so dominant that he redefines that position and break some records. So he has to make his mind that's what he wants to do because he already has the potential.
Totally agree. Totally agree. All right, man. So we're going to get up out of here, guys. Like I said, stay tuned for the rest of the Falcons facts this week coming up. We're going to be playing against the Rams. In your opinion, Hightower, how you like our chances playing against the Rams this week?
Well, the Rams are top team. The potential for the Falcons, they can beat anybody on any given Sunday, Monday or Thursday. They can do it. Do I think they're going to this week? I don't know. The Rams are looking real hungry, and they want to make up for some mistakes they made recently. So they're going to be fired up. But see, the Falcons have a team that they can make their mind up and do the same thing. But Cousins has to be as efficient as possible. Bijan has to be on the field a whole lot more. He has to receive the ball more, run the ball more, and the defense has to play above and beyond. Because is Adams back yet for the Rams?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
So if you got Nakua and you have Adams, that's a hard combo.
Yeah, that's tough.
They can handle a decent amount of it, but that's rough. That's a rough combo because Nakua is going to be the one that they kind of highlight. But Adams is so special. He's like a specialist at making things happen. You got to watch him and make sure he's accounted for because he will change the game. And remember, they have a decent running game, and of course, it's still a top team. Can the Falcons do it? Yes. Do I think so? I don't know. I would like for the Falcons to, but the way it's looking this season, the Rams need to win this game.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll know a little bit more toward the middle of the week when they fill out the practice reports a little bit more if Devontae Adams is going to be back. So
I know that he's just limited. What they do is they kind of use him as a novelty act now. They'll put him in to do something dynamic, they'll rest him. So I just want to make sure if he's in there, it's going to be a hard win. It's going to be a hard win if he's playing.
Totally agree. Totally agree. All right, Todd Terrell, man, we appreciate your time, bro. We're going to get up out of here, man.
All right, bro. Love y'all. Everybody, enjoy your holiday season. God bless you.
Yes, sir. The Point Game Official, C-Mo to C. Mitchell. Check it out on Falcons Bird Bath, baby.